Okay, I'm recording now. I don't know how to intro, so you, any viewers can obviously what we're doing here. I'm here with my brother, also known as Chimera. This is his YouTube.
Hey, what's up?
Oh yeah, you got your Morrowind. One episode of Space Punks.
Yeah, I may go back to that. I poked around at it a little bit
I
and
forget you
it,
did all this.
yeah.
Okay, so he's played Daggerfall, etc. That's gonna be relevant because we're doing the Elder Scrolls tier list. I'm gonna be real. Some of these I don't recognize, like Battlespire. So I guess we can just get right into it. What is Battlespire?
I think that was an in-between installment. Had something to do with, I think it was related to Redguard, I think,
Hmm.
or something. I don't remember
Hey,
exactly, but
Scamps.
yeah.
Doesn't look
It
like
was an
total dog shit.
yeah, it was just a spin-off.
Did you ever play it?
I did not play
Well,
Battlespire,
then
no.
that's going straight on to never played.
Yeah, Blade's got a bad rap. It didn't play like previous installments of the franchise. Um,
Oh, it looks cool.
oh no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Redguard. Blades is the mobile game. Um,
Oh,
yeah, no, Blades looks cool, but
that's
its monetization is pretty predatory and aggressive.
Blades release. It looks like Skyrim.
Yeah, no, it came out recently.
Oh,
I
did
just
it? Okay.
yeah.
2019. Okay.
Yeah, it looks really cool, but it's got ever increasing timers on the reward chests,
Oh, oh
and then
that
they
looks
offer
cool.
yeah, and then they offer you packs to open them fat keys to open them faster for sale.
Oh, I'm just gonna put that on bad just out of principle.
Yeah, it's the monetization alone puts it on shit tier. What's that one?
That's Daggerfall.
Oh, Daggerfall.
You got more to say about this than I do.
I would put honestly, I put Daggerfall on
I
Masterpiece.
knew you were gonna say
Um,
that.
well, see, no, here's the thing. Daggerfall has a lot of early installment weirdness as far as like the lore goes.
Oh shit. Nope.
That's not me.
Nope.
Actually, you could play that one. That's all.
I was gonna skim through it.
It's just traveling,
Oh, that
but
one.
yeah. But the music, it's just music. It's all royalty-free music,
Oh
and I've
god,
got
you're right.
attribution on the video.
Good god.
Yeah.
It's all travel. Let me show.
Like yeah. Literally a third of my Daggerfall playthrough on my YouTube channel is just travel.
That doesn't sound appealing.
It's interesting. There are mods for Daggerfall Unity that make traveling a lot easier. And so traveling actually becomes interesting when it's easier to
Yeah.
perform. But the
Didn't you
reason
have
I
to?
put
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Didn't you have to have like a mod for like fast travel? Like you can't do it
Yeah,
otherwise.
you can travel. You can travel cross country, and the game does have a fast travel system. But it's like Skyrim was, where you have to be in either a port city to travel by boat, or you have to select something that
Kind of
you
like
can
what you're
travel
doing
to.
here right now.
Yeah, right. There are only certain places you can select, but vanilla game it behaves like Skyrim, where like it fades away, and then it fades in, and you're there.
I got a question.
Um, mhm.
Are all these nodules like towns or something, or are they just places of interest?
The light brown and dark brown are settlements. The blue are shrines. The red are dungeons.
Okay, that's a
But
lot of
like,
shit.
there is a lot of shit in Daggerfall. And honestly, that's kind of why I put it up there in the masterpiece tier, because there's a lot to do that doesn't have anything to do with the story. And you could be playing for hours in a single settlement.
that does appeal to me. However, like you know my gaming history, I started
Hmm.
kind of in the Unreal Quake era. So my brain has this like graphical threshold. Now there's certain games I can
Yeah.
still play, like Stardew Valley, which is all pixels. I can play
Right.
that because there's enough systems to back it up. But I look at something like this, and I'm like, this looks boring. And, like that
It,
room has two items in it: the bed and the
yeah.
cradle. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing to it. Oh,
They're
good.
not
There's a
all like
fern
that.
in the middle of the floor. All right. Like,
Yeah. There were some gaps. That was supposed to be a bank.
so, yeah. So, like, what would you say to like trying to what could you do to convince someone like me to even bother with this?
I think it's fuel for developing headcanon for OCs. There's this is like
Are you sneaking or
one
are
of
you
them.
just slow as shit? Oh, okay.
I'm
There you
I'm
go.
I'm thinking, yeah. No, I'm stuttering.
No, no. I said, are you sneaking or just slow as
Oh
shit?
yeah. Yeah, no, I was sneaking.
Okay.
Yeah, this has a much higher like actual role play threshold. Like you aren't
Yeah.
just this isn't just a hack and slash. Compared to Morrowind, compared to Morrowind, this makes Morrowind look like a pure hack and slash.
To be fair, it's almost a little Minecrafty. Like I feel like I could
Actively
probably handle it.
as a player, but
Start
what do I
start that
want to
sentence
do
over. You
as this?
start that
Hmm?
sentence over. You bugged out a little bit.
Oh, I was just saying, like, you have to think about not what I would do as a player in this game, but more.
More what?
And so,
Oh, you bugged out again.
oh, at what part?
At more dot dot dot. No, that was a reference.
Yeah.
All right. I will go ahead and
Um, I lost my train of thought.
it's fine. I think we, unless there's more you want to say.
You mentioned graphics threshold. I want to
Yeah.
say what we were just looking at is actually updated for Daggerfall Unity, which is
Right.
free, by the way.
Yeah. Sure.
That's another selling point. It's free. You can get the mods off of Nexus, um, and I just think it's overall a really good experience. The writing in terms of like the writing quality, like mechanically speaking, grammar, spelling, stuff like that, it's pretty awful in places, but it's
See,
kind of part of its
like
charm.
I value density, and I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about this as we get into the other games. But it feels like there's a like okay, this perfect place to pause. Like, is there anything? I don't know. If, yeah, you can't see my cursor, but all that
No, I
white
can.
space, there's nothing to really.
Okay,
Is there
couple of
anything
things.
there? Like in all that?
Couple of things. Yeah, no, there's a couple things to unpack with that. That mini map that we're looking at right now is actually a glitch. Um,
Oh,
that is part of the town that I just left, and so
okay.
it's very zoomed in, and that's just a walkable area within the village. The villages themselves um, range from very sparse, just a few buildings, to very dense, with like huge cities. Like the city of Daggerfall itself is pretty large, and you can enter and interact with every single building. Some of them may look like that,
That
finger quote
that bank.
bank,
Yeah, yeah.
but other buildings do have a lot of stuff, and you can actually, do thievery, which is actually what you're looking at right now. That's my part of my playthrough where I'm playing a Khajiit thief.
I definitely saw your or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, I think we've drilled the Daggerfall mine.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and let you put it on masterpiece. That's fine. I think this is Elder Scrolls Online.
yeah.
I really like Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know if I could compare my hours to it as to like World of Warcraft because World of Warcraft doesn't really have an hour counter. You could go to each and every one of your alts do /played and add it up eventually, but it doesn't account for any of the characters you may have deleted in the past. I have like 1,800 hours on it. The biggest thing that appeals to me is that it's almost an MMO to spite MMO players. Like, the only real true end game is the veteran trials, which are the raids essentially. And you don't have to do trials. You can play through it like a single player game. And that means so much to me. On the flip side of that, it also feels a little too easy, where you can grind up a zone set. I won't say quickly. It might take an hour or two, depending on your luck. Not a stat, your personal universe luck.
Right.
But it's definitely, like, so far in the MMO market, it's the only one I can go back to and still find something to do. Like, dungeons are fun. It's definitely on the easier casual side of stuff. Like, I've been playing MMORPG Tycoon 2 Simulator, and you can, when you start your MMO, you can choose different things that you want to base your game off of, which is like achievements, loot, combat, socialization. Right. This one's definitely on like the more casual side of things. But
and
go ahead.
I don't really base the hours I put into a game in that regard. I have put a lot more time into World of Warcraft than I have ESO.
Oh yeah.
ESO has its charms, but at the end of and it's got the Elder Scrolls lore, of course, built on that foundation.
It didn't seem to hold you when you were playing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, when you strip away the theme, the motifs, when you strip away the lore, and you're just looking at like bare bones mechanics, it's just a generic MMO at the end of the day. And
I can see it.
And I like the way the class system works, but there is a clearly defined meta which tells me they didn't balance that class system properly.
There are some armor sets that have just been ignored over the years.
Yeah.
Where a few stand apart from the other ones.
Yeah, and there isn't enough of the good to really outweigh the bad for me, so that kind of puts it in the average category for me.
Average. I was gonna put it good myself.
I mean, that's fair. It's kind of in between for me.
Yeah. I mean, I could add you couldn't add stuff, but I added the never played one. But I want to put it on good. It's good. This is gonna be on my channel anyway, so.
Sure. Well, you gave me Daggerfall and Masterpiece.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it would be never played otherwise, so I'll allow That's why I kind of gave you the lion's share of commentary on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with that. Legends. This looks like a card
the TCG.
game.
It is. I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
This is a never played, obviously, but I've heard good things about it, but not enough to really form any kind of opinion. And here we go. Elder Scrolls 3, no question, masterpiece. Mwah, chef kiss.
There's nothing to say. But so, I reviewed this recently. But what Morrowind means to me cannot be understated.
For both of us.
I can't remember. Yeah, I mentioned in the review that you brought it home with you when you how do I put this diplomatically? Left the Air Force.
No, it's cool. I mean, I was discharged. It was a general discharge under honorable conditions. I wasn't kicked out or anything. I mean,
I thought it was. I thought you got just kicked out. Like, you're no good here. Get out.
I was, but saying you got kicked out has a negative connotation.
Okay.
I wasn't kicked. It's not like I got a. I wasn't dishonorably discharged.
Yeah,
I was just
true.
Discharged under honorable conditions. Essentially, Uncle Sam said, "Look, we're breaking up. You and I aren't working out."
Okay, fair enough. So you brought it home with me, and I can still remember. Oh, this footage is a little grainy. That's unfortunate. I remember I think I started as an Argonian, like originally.
Mine might be sharper, by the way.
Yeah. But this is mine, and it's special to me.
Fair.
You brought it home. I started in Argonian with I think with the Serpent Birth Sign, which does the damage to yourself. And I
Yeah.
can't remember what class it was. I just remember I only had 30 hit points, and that Serpent Sign does 30 hit damage to you. So I cast it, not really knowing what it did. I was just kind of testing controls and stuff, because this was on the very backside of my gaming experience. I don't think I did a lot of gaming while you were off in the Air Force after our parents' divorce because we couldn't afford anything.
It was just what, StarCraft?
It was pretty much just StarCraft for a while there. So this is still really early in on my gaming career.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, that sign killed me. I'm like, well, this game sucks. I put it down for 2 weeks, and I remember that 2 weeks. I'd left it alone, but because we were poor and I was like video game starved, I picked it up again, and I never put it down.
You know,
Go ahead.
quick interjection. I don't think I ever told you. I had a very similar experience with my introduction to Morrowind. My very first character was an Argonian. I had, which one was it that paralyzes you? The lady or the lover?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I had the one where
it's not the lady. Might be the lover.
You do something to the target, but you're also paralyzed for a good chunk of time. And I'm fighting a Kwama Forager. The Kwama Forager resisted the magic.
Ooh.
I did not. So I'm just paralyzed for like 5 minutes or whatever, and it's just chipping away at me. I didn't have the luxury of putting it down and coming back 2 weeks later because it was on someone else's laptop.
So you had to play while you had it, or?
Yeah, yeah. But I got some pretty good game time over the couple of weeks leading up to. I was already in the process of being discharged, so I had a lot of free time on my hands. So he just let me borrow his laptop and play for a couple weeks.
Sure.
But it's funny. I know you had that experience, but I don't think I ever shared with you how similar our introductory experiences
that's
were.
new. That's funny. Quick little aside before I talk more about it. The Kwama Forger, our unfortunately late mother loved Morrowind for its music, notably, and she also played some of it herself. It was one of the only our mom was very much like your mobile phone type gamer with the match 3 gems and stuff like that. But she also played Pharaoh.
Farmville.
Yeah, she also played Pharaoh, which is like those early RTSs. So she figured some of that stuff out.
I would say it was more of a sim than an RTS.
Yeah, but you still had armies to manage, I think.
Yeah.
What are they called? What are those little pastries called? We looked this up.
Cream horns.
What now?
Cream horns.
Cream horns. So, yep. It's definitely that. So
and there's one that looks exactly like one too.
It's these. These are the kind that we see in our supermarkets in our local area, and our mom always referred to these things as Kwama Foragers.
And for anybody who's never actually had one, it's just a puff pastry with cream in the middle.
I don't know if our mom ever knew this, but I actually didn't like them that much because there's nothing to them. It's just bread and cream.
There's a lot of air too.
And a lot of air. I would probably like
those gourmet ones look delicious though.
Yeah, right. These I would like. That looks good. But these are the ones that are always in our supermarket, and I just didn't care for them.
I just think it's funny that the actual the conical ones actually look like the Kwama Foragers.
Yeah, they do with that little chocolate lip. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm actually talking about it right now in the commentary.
yeah, I think that is the part where you're talking about it.
Yeah. So.
Because you're spending so much time looking at it.
Yep. So Morrowind has a very deep, special place in my heart, and I recognize that other game, and there's still some gamers out there that are like, this is the best one. No, there's no argument. This is just the best one. Just that everything's more complicated. It's great. It's the best one. Doesn't hold your hand. It's the best one. I still think Skyrim's better. I think it's a better game. But this is still a masterpiece. I'm not gonna
I disagree, but not for those reasons.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with people who say that this is an excellent game because it is. I told you about my graphics threshold, right? For
Mm-hmm.
some reason, I played this. When did I? 5 months ago is when I published all these. There you go. Oh, I could have just scrolled down. Creamhorn. um. So, where my train of thought? Oh yeah, 5 months ago, and it held up. Like I still played the hell out of it. I had some like HD texture mods, I think, but you can just look at what I'm playing here. It's still like look at the backside of this Soul Strider. Like it's still fuzzy, you know.
And
But
angular.
yeah. It's a good game. Like I don't know what to tell you. I think near the end of my Steam review of it, I mentioned that like if you can forego your own personal like threshold for how games work in the modern age, if you can do that and come to this game with like your reverse nostalgia type thing, like I want to see where other games got their ideas from, because Elder Scrolls got the ball rolling for the RPG genre in several ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'll leave that, unless you want to say
Well,
something.
I was just gonna say about the graphics threshold thing. It's like
Yeah, go ahead.
the thing about Morrowind is that it lacks high definition textures by default. You can download tons and tons of high definition um, textures for the game. You can download like foliage mods that increase the count
I
of
I just realized I wasn't modded
shrubbery and stuff
yet.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah, the this was on vanilla.
but
There
the
we
thing
go.
is, here's the thing though, right? You get all yeah, you get your high definition textures in there, and the polygon count in this game is not all that far off from what a lot of mobile games exhibit today.
Sure.
And to me, that tells me that for me, that means the game still holds up
Sure,
graphically.
and another interjection is the modding community is still insane. They're still putting
Oh,
stuff out for this.
absolutely
20 years
thriving.
later.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's another hallmark of a great game.
Yeah, sure. And I could say the same about Skyrim. Like, the Skyrim modding community is still insane right now.
I got thoughts on that, but I'm gonna wait till we get there.
Alright, so we got the Blood Moon and Tribunal. Honestly, I would put Blood Moon as Masterpiece, and then Tribunal was kind of a step down. But I'll let you
I
comment on it if you like.
No, I agree.
Oh, really? Okay.
Blood Moon had the most interesting plot. Tribunal felt rushed to me.
Tribunal was like the Dragon Age 2 of Morrowind expansions. Like it takes place in like one square city
Yeah,
and sewers. Like that's it. That's
yeah,
it. That's all you get.
but also the story just kind of felt like you got to go. Come on, hurry up, come on, let's go. There's more plot, and like it gets to a point where you don't want to do any of the side stuff because there maybe it's what they were trying to do. Maybe it was intended. I don't know. But the main plot at a certain point creates this sense of urgency. And every single time I reach that point, I completely abandon any of the side stuff and I just focus entirely on the main quest just to get it done. And I can't help it.
To
That's what the main quest just kind of funnels you through more of the main quest.
to be fair, it honestly, the main quest did have a sense of urgency to it. There's nothing wrong with a plotline having some urgency to it.
Yeah. I just felt like I was being funneled from one plot point to the next
Yeah.
without a sense of freedom to maybe come back to it after I do another side quest or something.
I do kind of agree with you, because I'm thinking about Blood Moon, where it doesn't really rush you. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you can stop and do the whole East Empire Company
yeah.
plotline, stuff
And
like
then
that.
that plot line alone is like, all right, so you did this thing for me. Come back in a couple of days,
Right.
and maybe you'll be ready to continue on with whatever we're doing here. And that felt good. That made me feel free to do what I wanted.
Yeah. I know I'm with it. Like the Tribunal NPCs also didn't feel as there.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
get the rushed vibe you do, but I agree with you. Like just in general.
I may not be articulating it how I actually feel. It just kind of like it gets to a point where I'm feeling like I have to finish the main quest. I cannot do anything else.
Okay.
But moving on to Redguard.
Yeah, I want to get Redguard and the other one at Arena out of the way because we got more to say
Man,
about Oblivion and Skyrim.
this is the one I thought I was talking about when we were
Oh,
talking about Blades.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Redguard looked interesting, but it kind of got a bad rap because it was more of an action title than it was
Nothing wrong with that.
RPG. Yeah, but it wasn't what people were expecting.
Okay.
It wasn't what I think there was this. I think it was kind of the signature. Um, the audience thought they were promised something from Bethesda, and got this instead,
Mm.
type of
Did you ever
situation.
play it?
Um, I didn't. I watched
Okay.
a playthrough of it, and it's pretty short. And I don't know if it's because the way that the player was playing the game, it seemed to come off as kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, when was this one? 1998. That's only
Hmm.
2 years after Morrowind. No, Morrowind was 2001, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Oh, I didn't realize that was before Morrowind.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it looks it, but I just thought maybe they just pumped something out just to get it out. Okay. All right. So we're putting on never played Arena.
Played Arena. Um, it was pretty bad.
But bad or
Let's put it.
like
Well, let's
mediocre.
put it on mediocre. Let's put it on mediocre. The thing about Arena is that Arena, and even Daggerfall really had some early installment weirdness. Um, like I can't. I think it's in Arena. Towards the end game, you actually see Red Mountain exploding,
Hmm.
but it's not called Red Mountain. It's called Degathur.
It was in Morrowind as well.
Yeah, I was gonna go on to say, to be fair, like when you get to the mountain itself, it's called Degathur, but oh god. But the thing is, um,
This is heavily edited.
yeah, what cinched it for me with Arena is that either due to design limitations, or I don't know if it was a design limitation or design choice, but you had to swing using mouse motions. I don't know if you remember.
I did. I remember trying it, and it
Yeah,
sucked at it. Like
yeah.
I couldn't get it. I couldn't swing.
Well, in Morrowind, you had the option to always do best attack. You didn't
Yeah,
have that option in Arena.
yeah.
You had to swing your mouse in the direction you wanted to swing the weapon.
Is that
I
supposed to be
never got out of
Azura?
the starter dungeon. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Mm.
When you and our boy Sean was playing it in our old house, was it Arena
It
or
was Daggerfall.
Daggerfall? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember something. I remember wandering off because I thought it was boring looking.
And that was actually at his place. We never played it at my house. I could
I,
never.
did I ever go with you to his place?
Sometimes, yeah, once or
Oh, I
twice.
have no memory
Um,
of that.
well, I could never get it working on my computer at home.
Okay. Anyway, that's all we got to say about that, I think. So on to Oblivion. I would personally, because Tribunal's up there, like Oblivion is in between good and average to me.
Mm,
I would,
I
I
have,
if you want to put it as average, I'd be okay with that. Or do you think it's worse?
yeah, yeah. I'm going to be nice. I normally, having this just discussion casually, I would say Oblivion is absolute shit tier.
No, I
Um,
think people give it a bad rap.
but I would place it at mediocre. I I will say that it does have some interesting plot hooks, and like the various side quests.
I would put Knights of the Nine on mediocre.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Shivering Isles was very good though.
I would put Shivering Isles on good. Shivering Isles did for me what the base game could not. But like just the graphics, like I liked the set pieces.
Sure.
Um I liked the atmosphere. I did not like the character models at all.
Okay, a lot of
They were
people
awful.
like people could make the argument where a game shouldn't rely on modders to fix it. That's fair. That's fair. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, that's free labor.
Yeah, yeah. For me, man, like they got on it pretty quick. So like one single better bodies mod for Oblivion, and that takes away that problem entirely. I will say though, I can you help me remember? Did we play this one on? We did have this on the Xbox. We did.
360, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so I was okay with it. I remember playing it behind you while you were on the computer, and I liked it, man.
Yeah, we got it on the 360 because I bought it for the PC, but the PC that I had at the time was garbage
Yep,
and
yep,
it
yep.
wouldn't run it. I don't know if you remember. Uh, excuse me. I downloaded some third-party software to trick my games into thinking I had a modern uh, GPU with a shader, modern at the time, with a shader in order to run modern games. But certain textures and certain polygons just could not render because I was just using an onboard. It was a graphics card built into the motherboard, right? So it just was absolutely incapable of rendering certain polygons and certain textures. So we would see dudes running around on my computer in Oblivion with like bright cyan or magenta hair because the texture wasn't there. Um, I'd be running into what I thought was an invisible wall when really it was just a tree that I couldn't see.
But there I follow in the Oblivion subreddit, and they obviously if you're in that Reddit, you probably like the game, and you know there's a lot of memes to be had. But I really do think it was solid for the time. Um, I won't.
In yeah, like within the context of games that were released around that time, yes, Oblivion was a good ass game,
Yeah, like
right? But within the context of the franchise, I think it was the weakest title.
yeah, like generally speaking, when you make a sequel, you want to take everything that everybody loved about the original one and like pump it up, make it better, which is what kind of Assassin's Creed Odyssey did to Assassin's Creed Origins. Origins got the ball rolling, very good game, and Odyssey took everything that they made and made that
Mhm.
better. I'll admit, I don't think Oblivion followed Morrowind as well.
No, they threw it in the trash and made
No,
a whole new game.
man, I don't think they like. It's a much simpler game. Like
Yeah,
Morrowind requires a ton of reading. You gotta follow instructions. I
yeah, it's very
really,
cerebral.
I really think Morrowind is like a 14 to 16-year-old for 14 and 16-year-olds to play it, while Oblivion could be played by 8, 9, 10-year-olds. I
Yeah, I
really.
won't disagree with that.
What now?
I said I don't disagree with that.
You don't disagree with that?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with that. You know, like
Here's my biggest gripe, and this is probably um, juvenile of me. My biggest gripe with Oblivion is the fucking Argonians.
I feel attacked.
No, I don't have a problem with Argonians. I have a problem with Argonians without their fucking legs.
Well, they don't have those in Skyrim either.
No, it pisses me off. I don't like that whole tradition of like, and I know that honestly, Morrowind is the outlier, right? Argonians in Daggerfall looked like lizard people with tails. Like they didn't even have lizard faces. They were just green people with tails.
Daggerfall Argonian.
I believe I think that might be a modded. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the Khajiit. The Khajiit look like cat people, like anime cat people.
Hmm.
I've got my I can't look it up on my computer right now because my Daggerfall is so heavily modded. I wouldn't know if I was looking at something that's mod or base game.
Right. Yeah, they don't have their reverse articulated legs here. They just
Yeah,
have the feet.
I understand that Morrowind is the outlier. Um, fully understand that,
But it was
fully
a
accept
cool.
that.
It was cool.
But it was my first Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. All right.
Morrowind was my first Elder Scrolls, so to me that is the correct one.
There is a precedent in lore where the history can manipulate the Argonian bodies if you like pray to it hard enough.
That wasn't revealed until Elder Scrolls Online.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought
there's
that was
like a whole
always kind of there.
there's a whole quest that talks about it.
Well, yeah, but
I don't think that lore existed until Elder Scrolls Online. Either that or it was in some novel. And I got a whole thing about transmedia narratives.
to be fair, the like novels are still considered in some circles official. Like
Yeah, no, I
they
get that.
commission it. They go out and get a writer. They here's the talking
Yeah.
points you need to mention. Have fun, you know.
Right. No, I get that. My thing about transmedia narration though is that tell you don't reveal lore in a story about a game that you don't intend to also present in game. You have to go out and buy outsourced material to get your lore. You're doing the lore wrong.
All right, I'm ready to move on. Are you?
Yeah.
Now, I have a complicated opinion of Skyrim, as many do. I I kind of want personally to put it in the masterpiece, but not in the same way as Morrowind. It like it's another one of those halfway points. Like,
Yeah, let's just go ahead and put it on good.
yeah,
Um,
sure, I'll
because
accept that.
I don't think Skyrim is going to survive um, as long as Morrowind has. I don't think it's going to last. You know, how long? How old is it now? It's only like 10 or 12 years old, right?
It's 10 years. It reached
10 years old,
its 10-year
right?
anniversary.
Yeah,
Actually, like a month ago.
11, or wasn't it 11?
No,
2011.
this month actually. 3 days
Yeah,
ago, it hit its 10 year.
11, 11, 11, 11.
Yeah. Three
I don't
days
think
ago.
it's going. I don't think it's going to last another 10 years. Not in the same way. It'll still be there. Um, I don't think that the modding community is going to support Skyrim in the same way that it's been supporting Morrowind or even Oblivion.
Oh, instant
Um,
endgame spoilers here.
the thing about Skyrim is that it's pretty, but much in the way that they changed so much between Morrowind and Oblivion, they changed so much between. Did you really record your game crashing?
No. I had to wait for a second.
I much in the way that they changed a lot between Morrowind and Oblivion, they changed a lot between Oblivion and Skyrim. And I think it was by the time Skyrim came around, those changes were so extreme that like the hardline, diehard Elder Scrolls fans are gonna play it, but we are like hardcore raiders in World of Warcraft. Right? We're there to the end. We're gonna play Elder Scrolls 6. We're gonna play whatever Elder Scrolls mainline Elder Scrolls title comes out in the future. Possibly maybe even other spin-offs. Um, but the average gamer that just kind of plays whatever happens to be available at the time, they're not going to stick around. Whereas I still talk to people who only play Morrowind. They don't care for the other Elder Scrolls titles. They still play Morrowind because they love it so much because of what it meant to them. And
Yeah.
same thing with Oblivion. I've met people who feel the same way about Oblivion. Don't play any of the other titles, but I've never ever spoken to anybody who only plays Skyrim and will only ever play Skyrim.
Sure,
They're like,
sure.
yeah, I played Skyrim. It was a good game, and then they move on.
I think it. I agree with some points, disagree with some others. I think it'll last. I think it's going to keep going because it has such like an incredible engine that is very mod friendly. Like if you go to Nexus,
Incredible isn't the word I would use for it.
well, I also have. I don't have the same like. I don't remember when and where we got Oblivion from, but there's no memory that prods in my head. My first memory of it, like when I think the furthest back I can, is during the Shivering Isles expansion, where some of the dialogue was so weird, and
Hmm.
and you were right. You know, you were sitting there listening to some of it, I think, and you were
Maybe I will. Maybe I
yo,
won't.
you got it.
I think I think I will. I maybe I won't.
Yeah,
That's not. And
it's
this
not
for
insanity. It's
context.
just being
Uh,
indecisive.
yeah, for our audience, for context, we're talking about a very specific dialogue that occurred multiple times throughout the Shivering Isles expansion and Oblivion, um, and it was meant to kind of portray that, oh, this character who keeps doing this or saying this
They're like
is mad.
OCD or something.
They're
Yeah.
OCD or insane in some way. And I'm like, that's not insanity. It's just indecision.
There was no subtlety to it. And
Yeah.
I think people love Shivering Isles not necessarily because of the writing, but just the visuals and the formatting. It wasn't your standard like hero knight, like the
Yeah.
whole like Roman aesthetic. It was very different, very refreshing in terms of it got back to like Morrowind's original weirdness. You know,
Yeah. It did.
that's why
And
people
I
loved it
did
so much.
I did like the themes surrounding the end game in Shivering Isles, the
Yeah.
dichotomy between Sheogorath and Jiggalag.
But yeah, my point is with I don't have a original memory of Oblivion. However, I can remember I have a distinct memory of when I think it was like we had stars for free because of the cable package that they were buying.
Mm-hmm.
Um and that's how I was watching like X Play and stuff and the Skyrim like pre-videos when the game was still in like its beta and they were releasing trailers and stuff and I remember
Getting
showing
hype.
mom and I think you were there too. I think so. I was showing you
Mm-hmm.
both the dragon combat and how it came crashing down and affected the world, the flooring. It's like that you never saw that before in a game, not back in 2011,
Right.
and it was a completely new thing. And I just wanted it so bad. In 2011, I think I had graduated by then, but you know, economy is garbage, so I don't think I had a job then. Um, so like we were hemming and hawing about it. I don't know if it was on the day of, but I remember mom coming home from work and she had it palmed in her hand. Like she said,
Yep.
she just kind of creeped up behind me. I think I was on the computer. I don't know where you were, because I remember being on the computer.
I was there
Okay.
because
Okay.
she showed me. I wasn't there with her when she got it, but she showed me before she presented it to you, and I came in with her because I wanted to see your reaction.
Oh yeah, there was tears. Maybe
Yep.
I don't remember, but uh,
Tears were had.
tears of joy. You know, I was
Hmm.
so happy to have it. So, like, do you remember if it was the day of or was it like a week later or something?
It wasn't launch day. It was pretty close to launch though.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
think
want
it
to say
was.
I want to say probably within a couple of days. Um, in fact, I think it might have even been a pre-order, and she just didn't get it
Oh,
because it didn't
she
arrive.
probably just picked it up at Walmart. You know,
Yeah.
might have been. So I have that memory in my head of her just having it like in her hand, and I was just so excited. And once again, much like Morrowind, I just never put it down. Like
It's,
this playthrough we're watching was just 4 months ago. Like I played all three of them in order. And to your point, I have beaten the final bosses of multiple DLCs for Skyrim on recording, and I
Mhm.
beat. I don't think I did Blood. I think I did Tribunal. I don't remember if I beat it on recording or not, but I beat Dagoth Ur. I didn't beat Oblivion for my recording. It's only got 9 episodes out.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to swing back to that. Like, my brother is not completely wrong in his assessment of Oblivion just being a little just meh. So, God, I almost want to put it down to mediocre just discussing that.
I'm telling you, the base game was mediocre. Knights of the Nine was mediocre.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
Shivering Isles, I would still keep Shivering Isles on good, to be
Really,
honest.
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. It almost gets brought down just because it's associated with Oblivion. Like the more we talk
Yeah.
about it, the more I agree with. Like I still respect it.
It's a tough call.
I still respect Oblivion. I want to get that out of the gate. You know, I want to keep that in people's minds. I respect
Respectful
Oblivion for what
mediocre.
it was. Yeah, I respect it for what it was, and for its time. Now, I don't know. Did you ever? You never played these, did you? They were after you're interested in.
No, I've played through Dragonborn.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
I would keep Dragonborn as good and Dawnguard as one step below.
I
That's
I
me.
would actually reverse that. I would put Dawnguard up in the good category, and Dragonborn into the average category.
All right, I would like to present my argument,
Yeah.
and then you can present yours.
Hmm.
Dawnguard was released before Dragonborn. Dragonborn was like the finale of the game. I don't even remember when they released it. Let's Google. Yes, Dragonborn DLC release because it was a couple years later. No, a year later. Okay.
Hmm.
All right, they put that out pretty quick.
What about Dawnguard?
Dawnguard was before. Um,
You sure?
yes, definitely, absolutely, because that's actually tied to the point I'm about to make. What? It's the same date. No, that ain't right. June. So it was a few
Dude,
months before.
I don't remember them coming out that close. I
Me
thought they were
neither.
separate. I thought they were separated by at least a year.
Me too, but maybe it was just a few months.
That's wild.
I mean, this was a decade ago, so obviously we would.
It's like, get this, City of Heroes and World of Warcraft were only 8 months apart.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't City of Heroes look so much better than Warcraft?
City of Heroes, I wouldn't say it necessarily looks better.
Getting a little off topic here.
But yeah, no, it depends on who you ask. I think that they're too different to really compare and say
Okay.
one is better than the other.
Anyway.
That's how I'll put it.
Anyway, let me swing back to my argument here. So Dawnguard was
Yeah.
definitely developed before Dragonborn. Dragonborn was the finale. Dawnguard, the zones and such were so much of a chore, and the boss fight had like invincibility phases, and it was actually very annoying. And so does Dragonborn's, but I'll get to that.
I have no memory of this.
Um,
I
Dawn,
know I know that I've beaten both of them.
Dawnguard's final boss is the Vampire Harkon. He gets into his Vampire Lord form and he warps around the arena.
Yeah.
And you fight him, and honestly, I don't have much to say about the boss fight itself. It's the zones that they designed for the expansion only had one form of fast travel. You had to go to those little light shrines. There's like 5 of them or so just to warp around that one area. You couldn't actually pull up your map, so it's so much of a chore.
There is a mod that opens it up and stitches them all together.
Oh,
but-
nice. But due to your previous argument is that free labor, they shouldn't rely on modders to fix their mistake. Anyway, I don't know why they did that. It was such a huge misstep. And also originally, and to the same point, the modders shouldn't have to fix their mistakes is, again, we played this on the Xbox, I believe. I think we had to like beg mom to get like the Xbox Pass, like here's 1,200 points to buy a DLC for anything, kind of thing. That's how we got them originally. And
I don't remember that either, but it probably sounds like something that would have happened.
maybe not beg, but ask nicely for Christmas or that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Skyrim has more stuff, Mama. Can you get us one of those Xbox cards?
Yeah.
That kind of thing happened. Anyway, Um, where was I going with this point? I was still talking about the zones. Oh yeah. When you reach level 10, it triggers the vampire attacks, and that's when you can go do the DLC to deal with them. But 10 is kind of too low for it. But if you deal with the vampire attacks too long, they would kill your shopkeepers and stuff because they follow you into town. And remember, this was on the Xbox 360. We had no mods to fix
Right.
that. Only on PC, and I still get that mod to this day. You know, to disable that. So Dawnguard was such a headache because as soon as you hit level 10, you basically were forced to go deal with that DLC and finish it in its entirety. Every save file, every character type that I wanted, every outfit that I wanted to wear, I would start a new character. Every single time I started a new character, it was just a chore. As soon as I got to level 10, I got to go deal with this chore of a thing. I kind of want to put it to mediocre now that I'm getting more annoyed at it the more I talk about it.
And I can hear it in your voice.
It's just, oh, like
Red Letter Media energy.
RLM moment. Oh yeah, like it had good outfits, good gear. Like Harkon's sword is awesome.
Yeah.
There's great gear in it, great rewards, but everything to get to it is like it forces. It's almost your point of the tribunal thing. It's like go, do this now.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it did that to me too. But I think it's interesting because I think we experienced our Dawn Guard in completely different ways. Because I completed it. I know that I completed it siding with the vampires, and I know that I completed it again siding with the Dawn Guard. I don't remember specific encounters. I don't remember having issues with the fast travel or the terrain. What I remember is the art. I remember
The what?
the art.
Art.
The art.
What art?
Kind of, like I was saying with Oblivion, the set pieces,
Yeah, sure.
the character models.
It was a well constructed. Those zones were well constructed.
Yeah, and just the beauty of the new items, just the whole gothic horror, gothic fantasy aesthetic was very pleasing to me, and I guess I have fond memories of Dawnguard for that reason.
I liked traversing the castle Volcair. I don't know how to pronounce it. I liked the castle. The castle was a good area. And it didn't feel like there was no fast travel throughout that whole place because it didn't need it. You know, just open
Right.
all the doors, you'll find some new gems and weapons and whatever and loot, and there was no reason to go back through it. But so going through it didn't feel like a chore like the snow zone did. I don't know if you know this, but that has these Paragon things. Skyrim, Paragon. These things.
I vaguely remember those.
They're on all the frost giants that are spread out in that zone, and they lead to something. I never know what. I think the Oriole Shield.
Yeah.
I've never possessed this in my life. Because getting all of them is such an annoying chore because the fast travel in that zone is such
Yeah.
the freaking shrines, man.
Well, now that you bring up that snowy area, I do remember not being particularly fond of that sequence.
Yeah. No.
But so I think probably average is I'll probably a good spot for it. If we're doing this like between the two of us coming to a consensus,
Yeah.
I think average is probably a good spot for
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
I still think we should knock down Dragonborn
well,
a tier.
well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Dragonborn, I really liked. I thought the boss fight felt appropriately dynamic, and his invincibility phases made more sense for the character, where he would just kind of like go into ghost form, suck up a dragon soul, which is it's very in line with how thematic and how it's exactly what that character would do. Harkon, he just turned into a red ball and floated around. You know, like that's all he did.
No, I mean, that's also thematic, but also less exciting. I get that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. as a DLC, it didn't bog you down with like requirements. Like I didn't feel rushed to get through it. The cultists that show up only attack you once, probably because of the complaints that everybody had from the vampires.
Yeah.
So they assault you once, usually in Riverwood for some reason. That's almost always where I run into
Maybe
them.
maybe my mods have busted that because I distinctly recall being attacked by the cultists multiple times in a single playthrough, only getting the dialogue once the first time, but being attacked by them multiple
I have
times.
a question for you. Did you go straight to Solstheim?
No,
They might have repeated attacks if you don't
I
go to.
think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually just go straight to Solstheim and then it might deactivate it. Because
Yeah, no, if you
I love Solstheim. I was gonna get to that. Okay, part of like Blood Moon is right up there in Masterpiece, which is why I think this deserves being in the good spot. It is a bit of a nostalgia bait DLC. Not as bad as probably Elder Scrolls' Vardenfell. I think that's more of
Oh
a
yeah.
nostalgia bait than that this is than Dragonborn. But I like how they clearly evolved it because I think Skyrim takes place 200 years after Morrowind.
Yeah.
I like seeing an area and how the culture and stuff evolves because the Skull are still, I mean, they're still there, you know. I mean, the United States is a 246-year-old country, so it makes sense that 200 years later a community would still be around.
Yeah.
Um,
The way Raven Rock clearly grew beyond what we experienced in Blood Moon, but also fell apart in that same
fell
time.
apart and got like completely redone.
Yeah.
Um, and the whole Ebony Mines plot line, um, it's cool. Like it was a cool like idea that it got shut down because of some Imperial lies. But I like traversing Solstheim. I thought the whole ash instead of snow was depressing in some point, but that's kind of the point because it's after the Red Mountain erupted and just destroyed half of Morrowind. I think it's a nice showing in a modern era. Of course, it was 10 years ago, but in modern gaming in general, you could see what a landmass looks like
Hmm.
after the fact, you know, because
Yeah.
with like Morrowind and Daggerfall, like due to graphical limitations, it all just kind of looks like a fantasy area. You know,
Yeah.
there's like Oblivion is just your generic Roman looking place. You know, there's no feeling that the world is being affected. Even the Oblivion gates, you know, it would leave their little like broken spines about, but like the plant matter is still alive around it. You know, it's just it doesn't look like there was a meteor. That's what it should look like. It look like all the trees and
Yeah.
stuff should be dead in the area. You know.
I get what you're saying. Um,
Let me
yeah.
finalize my thoughts. The only point of contention I have, I loved Apocrypha, but the color palette, again, thematic with the Cthulhu vibe, made me sick from looking at it after a while. And
Oh God.
traversing them
Awful.
was, yeah, traversing them was a bit of a chore because the books of change or just the books, the black books, they got like they had an increasing level of difficulty and um it's like they were designed in an incremental is the word I was looking for. They got designed in incremental difficulty, so they got more complex
Hmm.
as you went on. But some of them were just a chore. Like one of them was almost completely dark, and you took damage in the darkness. Which by the time I get
Yeah.
that Dragonborn is like a level 30 DLC, you will be fine if you just heal. But it's just a chore. It was annoying, and I didn't like
You could
that.
actually use that sequence to level your restoration if it was low.
You're right, right. A good DLC, like not a masterpiece, not by any stretch, but it's just good. It was on par with the rest of Skyrim. But go ahead and get to your
So yeah, on Apocrypha, you and I pretty much agree. I couldn't stand Apocrypha. Um,
overall. I liked
I
it.
it,
I liked the main story
it's
beats with it.
I liked I liked the sense of accomplishment that I felt when I got through all of it.
Sure.
Not too many not too many sequences. in this franchise can say that, or can say that they've done that for me. I didn't like doing it, but I liked the feeling I got when I got through it, and that's probably what they were going for. They just did it in the worst way possible. But for the outs, for the outer areas, for Vardenfell, um, again, you know how I feel about Morrowind. When I first got to Solstheim and I saw what had happened, what they had done with it, I felt like they were shitting on my favorite game. It really felt insulting
I
to
think it was
me.
a progression of lore, though. That's what happened. The
It
Red Mountain
was.
erupted.
It
Oh,
was.
I got a point for you. Do you know the trope "No Endor Holocaust"?
No what?
No Endor Holocaust. It was the conceit that at the end of Star Wars, when that planet explodes, but Endor is completely fine. But in
You mean the
reality,
Death
with
Star?
oh yeah, Death Star. In reality, it would have been
I'm a nerd.
peppered with shrapnel. That planet,
Yeah, that's true.
and
I don't
I
think
think this
I
is a
don't.
great version of that.
So not a Holocaust and an apocalypse.
I think it's called Holocaust. Hold on. TV tropes. No Endor Holocaust. Yeah, Holocaust.
I think that it probably they probably should have been um apocalypse.
I don't think Holocaust always implies mass murder. I think, or it's just mass death in general.
Okay. Well, at any rate,
Explosions
no,
are
I get
cool.
what I get what you're saying. And with the explosion of Red Mountain, which I think again happened in a novel, um, it would look that way.
I just
Mm,
realized. No, in Morrowind, Vivek says about what's it called, that the Ministry of Truth.
yeah.
He tells you he's holding that up with the. He's lying um about some of the specifics, but he says I can only hold it up as people love me. And when you kill Dagoth, he loses his power. So I think he mentions that he's going to lose power and he'll lose control over that rock over time.
Oh, right.
So
And
yeah,
Barad-dûr.
I see.
It's
I thought Barad-dûr was the. I thought that was the Lord of the Rings thing.
might be.
Yeah, that's Lord of the Rings.
All right. So Google what WTF is the thing over Vex City.
Bardau, you were close.
I was so close. I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it. It just wasn't there yet.
I couldn't think of it either.
Bardau.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, I remember.
he does
I
talk
remember
about
that.
that. Yeah,
So they did face an apocalypse.
yeah.
Because you brought that up, and I immediately remembered. Oh yeah, what happened was, it wasn't killing Dagothir that caused Vivek to
The
lose
heart.
his
It was the
power.
heart. Yeah.
It was the heart of Lorcan. Um, wow, we are nerds.
We are
Um,
getting. Yeah, we're also kind of getting off topic.
yeah, but what I'm getting at is I understand now. Right, Vivek lost his power. That thing didn't come crashing down as if it had been stopped there. It came crashing down as if it had never been stopped in the first
Yeah,
place.
it kept its momentum.
Right. And so that would have destroyed most of Vardenfell.
I think it
That
did.
that kind of changes my whole outlook on the aesthetics of
Yeah, yeah.
Dragonborn. Um, so I can concede that point. It makes sense. Um, however, it was very what I will say is that for a good portion of Solstheim is very monochromatic.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I'm
ashen
with you.
the ashen wasteland portion of that exterior wasn't exciting to me until I installed that mod that gave you a little ash house, gave you a little ash mage uniform, and gave you all of those ash spells.
Oh yeah, I love that mod. You got to really
Once I
dig
got
for that one now because it's
yeah
removed from Nexus for some reason.
yeah
There's some like
once
background politics about it.
oh wow once I got that mod, I Like I made a character specifically for that, and I was all in for that aesthetic. So I didn't mind it. I didn't mind that playthrough because that's what I was playing it for.
Yeah, you were doing a theme.
Right. But, my bright and colorful, shiny Vardenfell and Solstheim um, got murdered by a giant space rock
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it hurt my feelings.
The Morrowind Blood Moon, it was very colorful, even though you just see the white. There's a lot of white snow, but also the trees were very vibrant. It was just
Well, if
good,
yeah, I
good
mean,
looking
like
place.
if you go to my playthrough, if you're looking, if anybody watches my playthrough where I'm exploring Solstheim, I actually you can see me like kind of panning my character's view towards like colorful spots that I had never really noticed before. And Solstheim is a very colorful place in Morrowind.
Yeah, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
I think we can leave it at good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what episode?
Not really
That's
any
why you
of
gotta
the
title them.
yeah. Well, I started titling them after the fact,
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
like later.
All right,
But
so I think this
I
is
think
solid.
that's a list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like zoom in just to keep it up there.
gonna bookmark it, see how people react.
Do what now?
You're gonna save it so people can react to it.
Yeah, sure. Oh, okay, I gotta download. I can just print screen. It's fine. All right. It's just weird to see Daggerfall up there.
Weird for you. That far up there, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Well, oh,
while you were commenting, I was watching it. I'm like, there's like this looks like Minecraft. Like, ugh.
well, one of the things I was going to say, I
But
got sidetracked. The thing about Daggerfall is that there was a lot of early installment weirdness, but Daggerfall specifically set up a lot of lore that Morrowind codified.
sure,
So like the deities, like the Aedra and Daedra, they're kind of vague in Daggerfall, right? But like um I can't think of anything. I can't think of any examples now that I'm talking about it. Um, but like it set the stage for the Aedra and Daedra is what it comes down to. Like, because I think they were just briefly mentioned in Arena. I don't know much. I only really read through some of the Arena lore, but um, but yeah, Daggerfall set the groundwork for what we saw in um the following titles.
sure. At the end of the day, I I approach these gaming tier lists like what did I feel like, not necessarily how good of a game it was, but
Yeah.
like how did I feel while playing it. And that's why when I was starting to talk about, the more I talked about Dawnguard, the more I wanted to downgrade it. um so I can't, I don't rank them based on like what necessarily they meant in the history of the franchise. I generally bank them on how much I enjoyed the game itself or the DLC. Like that's why Dragonborn is good to me, even though you probably see it as average. But at the end of the day, I think between you and me, only a couple of these things would be like somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think this is a
The only
good.
thing that Yeah, no, I think the only thing that would really knock Dragonborn down for me at this point, after our discussion, is just the fact that it left me with the same feeling that I talked about with Tribunal, the same feeling you talked about with Dawnguard.
Yeah, yeah.
Once I got to a certain point in the main plot, I felt like I had to only do the main plot and nothing else, and I had to complete it as soon as possible. Otherwise, everybody was going to die. I was going to die. Nobody would survive.
I didn't get that vibe from Dragonborn. But yeah. Any final thoughts? Because I think that's a video.
Hmm.
Hashtag everything is content. You good?
Oh yeah.
All right. Good game, everybody.